Hello, my dears. Hi, my dears. Hello, my dears. It's Amy, and I'm so happy to see you here tonight. So tonight is the Q&A, woo, because we've reached 50 subscribers. I'm so happy, and actually I think we're more close to 60 now, last time I checked. So thank you all so much, and as a little treat, I'm going to answer all the questions that you all have sent in to me over the past couple weeks, and I'll mix it in with some mic touching, scratching, so you all seem to really like that. So it'll be soft-spoken, whispered, both. So I have them all compiled here on my phone, and I'll be answering all of them. As you can see, I have an OtterBox as a cell phone case. It won't be breaking on me anytime soon. Not like before. I've learned my lesson. OtterBox. So they're all written in a note on my phone, and I'll be answering them by reading them. So the first one is, what other ASMRists do you watch or subscribe to? So this is a good question because I started creating ASMR because of these creators, so there's so many, but I'd say like the most influential for me is probably GB ASMR and Goodnight Moon. I absolutely adore both of them, but I also watch like pretty religiously Marno ASMR, African Kosa. I can't do it very well. There's a click in there that I can't do. Kosa, I think. I watch Silver Hair ASMR, Slight Sounds. I'm trying to think of the others. There's just so many. So those are some that I subscribe to, but they're not all of them. I'm constantly watching and finding new ASMR, and I think the first creator I ever saw and clicked on, it was like recommended in the YouTube algorithm, was Latte ASMR. She is the definition of production quality. Like, she doesn't post very often, but when she does, boy, is it amazing. Like, I swear her house is a big ASMR problem. Like, haven. Like, her set's immaculate. Her roleplay is immaculate. Her whispering, immaculate. She speaks like 4 languages, so if that's your jam, go check out Latte ASMR. That's what got me into ASMR to begin with, and shortly thereafter I found GB, and then I was lost to the ASMR community, and here I am now. Another question is, do you have any big plans for 2021? So, depends on what you define as big. So I think as far as my plans, like I want to keep building up and growing my channel. That's something I want to do. I'm also going to be like doing a lot with my other jobs as well, but I think like my biggest plan is to probably become more fluent in Korean. That is something that I'm learning, and I can read it, but I cannot speak it yet. So we're gonna try to do that. Let you know if that ever comes to fruition. Next one is, what are your goals for your ASMR channel? So I have like pretty, I want to say attainable goals, but they're more just like things I think would be cool. I don't really have any like major expectations for my channel. So I'm just happy to be doing it and interacting with all of you. It doesn't matter how many subscribers I have, but I think it would be cool at some point to like get to the point where YouTube offers like monetization, just because I think that's like a really cool milestone. Other than that, my goals are just to like help people relax, fall asleep, just like the ASMR creators that I watch. ASMR artists have helped me, so that's why I started, and that's why I'm here. And my favorite ASMR trigger is the next question. So this one I have like agonized over, like which one it technically is, and I've come down to the top 3. So my top favorite trigger, like I will always click on a video if this happens, is if it's like in the title or like listed, or someone recommends it to me based off of this specific trigger. It's tracing. So I love tracing, just anything. It could be shapes, could be letters. I think this is backwards. The S was backwards, forgive me. Could be like that. It could be tracing things like on the back. So So here it's otter box. It's a rectangle. Like, I love tracing. I don't know why. I just happened to watch a video before. I don't even remember whose it was that had tracing in it, and I was like, instant relaxation. I have no idea why, but I love it. So if you all know any good tracing videos, hit me up. I'm always looking for more. That's actually why I started my channel, was to keep doing tracing videos. And my next one is fast tapping. I love fast tapping. I love fast tapping so much. Given the choice between any type of tapping, I want fast tapping. So this is my ideal speed of tapping. This is my end-all be-all, like, comfort trigger, I think. And my last one is, I really, really like soft-spoken and whispered triggers. Like, not necessarily about anything, but it's like if I really like a content creator's voice, like I love Goodnight Moon's voice, like I love Erin's voice, so like, and Silverhair's voice, like I love Tyler's voice, so like they could be literally talking about anything and I'm like, wow, this is the greatest thing in the whole world, just because I find their voices so relaxing and comforting. So those are my top 3 favorite triggers. So this is another question that I was like, this is oddly specific, but we're going with it. Did you ever get your wisdom teeth removed? And if so, did you fall asleep fast at the dentist? So yes, I've gotten all 4 wisdom teeth removed when I was 18. I got them all out at the same time. And I got fully put to sleep, or like with the anesthesia and stuff. And yes, if you get the IV anesthesia, you go to sleep whether you want to or not. So I remember they gave me like laughing gas, like the one where you just like breathe it in, and I'd had that before because I've had dental work done and all of that. And they were like, okay, now count backwards from 10, and I was like, this isn't gonna affect me. I'm not gonna fall asleep in 10 seconds. I'm not gonna do it. I think I got to 4 and I don't remember anything else after that. I did wake up, I think, during the extraction, but I was so out of it that I remember I opened my eyes like very lightly, and I could like feel them, what was the extraction like, but I could only feel it like on this part of my face, not like where they were actually doing it in my mouth. And I remember being like, you should probably go back to sleep because that's really gonna freak out the dentists if they see that you're awake. So it didn't hurt at all. It was overall a pretty funny experience. I didn't have one of those videos where like everyone says funny things though. I just like shrugged a whole lot. Like I was answering questions and I just didn't know how to speak for a minute. That was it. Pretty uneventful. So you all wanted to know. So there's my wisdom teeth removal story. So the next one is my favorite movies. So I actually have a top 3, but there's so many that are exceptions to it that it shouldn't even be counted. So 3rd favorite is the movie Up from Disney. Huge Disney fan, given that I've worked at Disney, so I love Up. It's great. Next one is Howl's Moving Castle. I love Howl's Moving Castle. Howl is the ideal man. No one can change my mind. And my top favorite is sort of a cult classic. Like if you know it super well. If you don't know it, you're like, what is she talking about? But it's Cloud Atlas. So it's based off of a book. It's sort of a story about reincarnation, but the special effects are amazing, and so is the soundtrack. So if you haven't seen it, go check it out if you have 3 hours to spare, and I promise you the 3 hours are worth it. But some of the exceptions are like the entire Lord of the Rings trilogy. How can anyone not love Lord of the Rings? So there it is. Do I play any instruments? Yes. I'm actually a professional violinist. So I play violin, viola, a tiny bit of guitar. I can get by in basic piano, and I can sing okay. I'm not like, gonna be in an opera or anything, but I can hold pitch and scream Broadway and songs in my car. So yes, I play violin. That's what I do for a living. So yes. What video games do you play? So currently I just got an Oculus, which if you don't know what that is, it's a VR headset. And I'm obsessed. Like, I didn't know what it was until recently, and I was like, why didn't I have this at the beginning of COVID? I would have been lost to the VR world. So I played Beat Saber on that. Big fan of rhythm games. I also play some Dragon Quest games, but I haven't in a while. Same with Legend of Zelda. Big fan of Professor Layton games. Any puzzle game, throw it at me. Love escape rooms, love Professor Layton. My favorite track on Mario Kart is Rainbow Road, so that just tells you how competitive I am there. And I'm not a big fan of playing horror games, but I'm a very big fan of watching people play horror games. So I don't really play those games, but I know a lot about them. Same with like Kingdom Hearts. I've never actually played Kingdom Hearts, but I know way too much about Kingdom Hearts. So those are my video games. Not so much of a gamer now, but I can get by. So do I play any sports or support any sports? So I used to play softball. Like in high school, I was a catcher, so I like softball, but I don't play it anymore because I'm too worried about like hurting myself. Because if you break your arm or your finger or your shoulder, it's not good if you're a violinist or a musician in general. So not right now. I don't play sports. During COVID, I started playing tennis again, and by that I mean trying to hit the ball over the net. So if you want to count that, I suppose. As for supporting sports, like before the pandemic, I wasn't like home to watch the games because as a musician, I was always in rehearsals or concerts or gigs when the games were happening, like Sunday afternoons for football or like basketball during the evenings. Like I was always busy, and I didn't think it was fun to watch it after the fact. So I guess if I had to pick teams that I say I support, I would probably go with the Washington Wizards for basketball because my sister's a huge basketball fanatic. She likes the Wizards a lot and the Golden State Warriors. So I watch those when I go home and visit with them. But I guess I'm also like originally from Baltimore, so I do have a soft spot for the Ravens and the Orioles, even though they're terrible. We know the Orioles are terrible. Not even the people from Maryland are going to deny that. But I have a soft spot, so those are the sports. My favorite subject at school. So I'm not in school, but when I was in school, and this is like grade school, like through like high school, I suppose, I think I would have to say I always really liked language arts or English or something because I liked reading, and I really, really liked all of the artsy subjects too. So like clearly I liked music enough to become a professional violinist. That was always on the table. But other than that, I really liked my Spanish classes too, and my English classes because I just really like languages and learning, like reading, writing, like that sort of thing. I was always into it, but I always liked school. My least favorite subject was always engineering and physics. I hated both of those. I love chemistry, hated physics. What color socks do you wear, matching or not, and prove it? No. Seems a little too close to being something gross. So if I ever get an OnlyFans, you can find out there. My biggest achievement so far in life. I guess I graduated college in 4 years, which is always cool to do. That's like an achievement in and of itself, just graduating college. But I graduated in 4 years with 2 majors, a minor, and a 4.0, which is like I got straight A's all through college, which it broke my brain, but here I am. So for better or for worse, I did it, and I like to say that that's probably my biggest achievement thus far. Plus, like, you know, surviving through a pandemic, making money as a musician. That's also pretty interesting. Now, what countries would you like to visit the most? So I want to visit Korea, like South Korea so badly. I have several friends who live there. I am learning the language because I want to go visit there and I want to be able to speak the language there, and because I want to actually like work there as a musician at some point. Other countries, like I really want to visit China and Japan as well. For other reasons, but the main one is I really want to go to their theme parks. I'm a theme park enthusiast. And honestly, if you said like, hey, would you want to go to insert country here, I'd always say yes. Like, I want to travel everywhere. I've already been around Europe, or else all those countries would be on my list. But I think there's, like, I've never been to Sweden. That's one I want to go to. And Greece. I've never been to Greece, but I've been to a lot of others in Europe. What TV shows am I binging currently? So, I constantly am watching Gordon Ramsay shows. For no reason. I don't cook. So Hell's Kitchen, MasterChef, even the old seasons, I'll go back and rewatch them. Other than that, my friend recently got me back into anime. So currently, I just finished watching, and if you don't know what this is, please give it a shot. I said the same thing when I heard the title. It's called That Time I Died and Got Reincarnated into a Slime. I promise it's worth it. It's cute. But as for like more normal shows, I'm binge watching Demon Slayer currently. I'm almost done getting ready for the movie to come out in the United States. Next question is, what is your dream career? So that would be recording soundtracks for motion pictures or movies. I want to be one of the violinists that plays on soundtracks, because that's just like the coolest job in the whole world. So here's another question that I am just wholly confused by, and I've been thinking about it for a while, and I still don't know what to make of it, so like, why? But I'll still answer it, because that's what I said I was going to do. It said, what do you think is the safest way for animal control to catch a big bear that's loose in a neighborhood? Why? Why would you ask me? I am an ASM artist and a violinist. I don't know. The bear is outside. Bears are fine. I don't know. Why do we gotta catch it? Just leave it alone. It'll leave you alone. So moving on. Which bands or singers would you most like to see live? So my music taste is really weird. I've already seen a lot of my favorite bands live, or like singers live, but I'd like to see a lot of them again. So like, I would totally love to see Panic at the Disco again. I was supposed to go see My Chemical Romance last year, and it got rescheduled, so I'll let you know if that happens. That's supposed to be this fall. Reliving my middle school emo days. I'm a big fan of Chinese and Korean music. So I'd really like to see a lot of them live. Like, my favorite artist is actually named Byun Baekhyun, and he's a member of a K-pop group, but also like a very prolific soloist. So I would totally love to see him in concert again, as well as a whole bunch of other like idols like him, because I just admire their work ethic so much. So, plus there's a whole bunch of classical musicians that I'd like to see live. So there's a lot. This could be a whole video in and of itself. Alright, and my friend's cat's Instagram account asked a question that said, how often should a cat be fed? So this cat, his name is Lancelot, and he is very food motivated. Like, he tried to steal a piece of my pizza. He's one of the nicest cats ever, but he loves food, so not that often, Lancelot. Okay, a couple more. These are more generic questions. So, what is your favorite book? I have issues answering this question, but I'd say right now it's what I'm reading, so it's Fellowship of the Ring. That's what I'm reading, so I'll say that. My sexual orientation, well, I'm queer. I am queer. So I would say bi, but feminine presenting leaning. So like almost lesbian, probably. Who knows? And just leading off of that, like, yes, I have a girlfriend, so you'll probably meet her on the channel at some point. So aside from necessities, what's one thing you couldn't go a day without? I would say, well, aside from like food and water and all of that, I would say music, and that sounds really cliche. Like, it's like, oh, musicians saying they can't live without music. But, like, not even, like, the music you think. Like, I can go a day without my violin. I can go a day without classical music. Like, I'm a classical musician that doesn't actually listen to classical music. I really can't stand listening to classical music that I don't know or haven't played before. Like, I like playing it. I don't like listening to it. So I would say, like, music, like, Spotify. Like, there was a disagreement in, like, the Korean side of music where like a lot of the smaller companies that put forward music like got their stuff taken off of Spotify, and it was like crippling. Like I was like, what am I supposed to do? I lost all my music. So I would say if Spotify like went down, I would have a mental breakdown. What is my favorite animal? A manatee. They're like little sea cows. My favorite color is like pastel green and pastel pink. They're like the same. So like think Easter colors, those. Do I collect anything? Yes, I collect. Well, okay, this is like very specific, but I collect Harry Potter Christmas ornaments, and they're specifically the keepsake version. So it's like not like the Funko Pop looking ones. They're like really ornate, and yeah, I have a lot, and I'm looking for a lot of other ones. So eBay is my friend for that. Someone asked what anime do I watch. So I watched the slime one. I watch Demon Slayer currently. I'm catching back up on Attack on Titan. No spoilers. I'm like in season 1. I don't remember a single thing. I've seen a lot of the older ones, so like my first ever one was Death Note and Code Geass and things like that, but currently that's what I'm watching, and one of my students is trying to get me to watch Seven Deadly Sins, so we'll see. And last question, what is the last thing that you Google searched? So I assume that this is supposed to be whimsical, but mine is very practical. The last thing I Google searched was how to make your website on Wix private, because I'm designing a web page and I accidentally published it. But as a whimsical thing, something I did search recently that was like weird out of context was like, why are scallops so scary looking? And I will spare you from the picture of what a scallop actually looks like when it's alive, because watching the Gordon Ramsay TV shows, they always use scallops. He loves scallops in his dishes and stuff. So I was like, wait a minute, I'm vegetarian, so I don't eat a lot of seafood. I don't like see them. And I was like, oh my gosh, I don't even know what a scallop looks like live. Newsflash, they look scary. So I looked it up and I was like, oh my gosh, why do they have eyes? Like, because a lot of them are like zoomed in really far. They're like really close in on this like scallop that's probably like that big. And all around the shell, they have eyes. And I was like, why? That's horrifying. So I think I googled like, why are they so scary? And my friend who's a chef was like, you're ridiculous. It's not that bad. So yeah, that's it. That's the stuff y'all wanted to know. If there's more stuff that you want to know, please still let me know, because I'm sure there will be a part 2 of this at some point. If you all want it, let me know. So if you stuck around this long, thanks. Now you know a lot more about me. So I will see you all next time.